It's precisely 1:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Danushka Madhavela, read by Sabrina Zawahir. The headlines. Vice-Chancellor of the Sabaragamu University expresses hope that the 2024 budget will solve the problems of the people in the country. The government plans to develop rural and regional medical centres under provincial councils. 4,500 million rupees will be allocated for education from the 2024 budget. Increase in dengue high-risk zones. Farmers to be compensated for Yala crop loss. And in world news, Taylor Swift breaks nomination record of Grammy Awards. In sports, Arsenal manager has warned Aaron Ramsdale not to rush any decision over his future after falling out of favour this season. Now the local news in detail. Vice-Chancellor of the Sabaragamu University, Professor Sunil Shanta, expresses hope that the 2024 budget will solve the issues related to the sustainable development goals of the country and the problems of the people as well. Several suggestions were implemented to regain the economic progress of the country after the 2022 economic collapse, but those suggestions were unable to meet the expressed developments. The total expenditure of the country in 2022 was 4,511 billion rupees, but the total government income of the country was 2,012 billion rupees. Joining the Subharati discussion program of the SLBC, the Vice-Chancellor said that he expressed hope that this year's budget will be a successful budget. The budget speech of President Ranil Wickremesinghe will be aired live next Monday from 12 noon through Sinhala, Tamil and English service channels of the SLBC and all regional channels. State Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Government, Janaka Vakkumbara, says that the government plans to develop rural and regional medical centres under provincial councils next year. 4,500 million rupees will be allocated from the next budget in this regard. He also said that the schools will also be developed under provincial councils. The State Minister also said that 4,500 million rupees will also be allocated for education as well. Chairman of the Vishwa Harita Society, Dr. Tilakasiri Vitharana, said that the 2024 budget, which will be presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe as the Minister of Finance, will pave the way to carry forward the President's Green Economic Programme. The Irrigation Department announced that the 8 sluice gates of the Deduru Oya are being opened as water level is rising rapidly due to continuous heavy rains. Director Irrigations Engineer SPS Sugeshwara says that one sluice gate of Udavalava Reservoir is also opened at present. He requests the people who live in Deduru Oya and Manikganga river banks and downstream areas to be vigilant. Accordingly, the Disaster Management Centre said people living downstream of Deduru Oya and Udavalava area are advised to be cautious about possible flood situations. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Your next generation digital banking partner, People's Bank.
Continuing local news, over 11,750 acres of paddy fields which were about to be harvested in the last Yala season have been destroyed by floods caused by heavy rains that have been experiencing for almost 1.5 months. Agriculture and Plantation Industry Minister Mahinda Amaravira had informed the Agricultural and Agrarian Insurance Board to gather information about the damaged fields due to the long and severe drought that prevailed in last Yala season. Accordingly, 64,088 acres of paddy fields have been damaged due to drought and 11,460 farmers have been affected due to crop damage due to rain. Meanwhile, the Minister asked Agriculture and Agrarian Insurance Board Chairman WMMB Veerasekara to take steps to provide compensation for crop damage caused by drought. The National Dengue Control Unit Director, Dr. Nalin Aryaratna, said that the number of dengue high-risk zones has increased up to 44. Dengue breeding spots have been discovered from public places and government and private institutions in addition to houses. He also urges the public to be vigilant on all types of mosquito breeding sites and destroy them on a regular basis. The Telecommunications Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka will conduct an island-wide program to enable the public to confirm the registration of their mobile SIM cards with their relevant telecommunication company. Issuing a statement, the government said the first phase of the program will be conducted in the Kandy district from November 13th to the November 18th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The public has been requested to verify their mobile SIM card and registered companies by dialing #132# and obtaining all relevant details. The government warned that those who fail to update their mobile SIM card registrations will have to take responsibility in the event their mobile numbers are used for criminal activities. That ends local news.
Enjoy seamless shopping. Open LCs, settle bills and transfer funds instantly, anywhere and anytime. With People's Bank Digital Solutions, you're empowered to do more whenever and wherever you want. Unlock a world of modern banking conveniences with People's Bank, your next generation digital banking partner. People's Bank.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
State Minister Janaka Wakkumbara says that the youth representation for the local government institutes is mandatory. He said that accordingly, the representation of the youth aged between 18 and 35 should be at least 25%. He said that the aim of this initiative is to motivate young generation to enter into politics. That was Main News.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
Moving on to Watchlight, the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka will conduct an island-wide program to enable the public to confirm the registration of their mobile SIM cards with their relevant telecommunication company. The public has been requested to verify their mobile SIM card and registered companies by dialing #132# and obtaining all relevant details. The government warned that those who fail to update their mobile SIM card registrations will have to take responsibility in the event their mobile numbers are used for criminal activities. That came to you in Watchlight. Moving on to World News. Taking a look at the headlines of the World News. Firing outside Gaza hospitals with patients and staff trapped inside. Macron calls on Israel to stop killing Gaza's women and babies. Taylor Swift breaks nomination record of Grammy Awards. Now the world news in detail. In the north of the Gaza Strip, explosions have been reported at or near several hospitals throughout Friday. Footage shows tanks firing near Al-Ratinse Children's Hospital, where civilians say they are trapped, and Israel has confirmed it is operating close to Al-Shifa, the biggest hospital in Gaza City. An Israel Defense Forces spokesperson said it does not fire on hospitals but will do what we need to if Hamas fires from hospital grounds. French President Emmanuel Macron has told the BBC Israel must stop killing civilians in Gaza, saying a ceasefire would benefit Israel. He also stressed that France clearly condemns the terrorist actions of Hamas and recognizes Israel's right to protect itself. Israel has revised down the death toll in the 7th October attacks from 1,400 to about 1,200. An Israeli Foreign Ministry spokesman says it now thinks some unidentified bodies belong to terrorists. Israel began striking Gaza after the Hamas attacks on 7th October, which saw 1,200 people killed and more than 200 taken hostage. More than 11,000 people have been killed in Gaza since, according to the Hamas-run health ministry, including more than 4,500 children. Israel must stop killing babies and women in Gaza, French President Emmanuel Macron has told the BBC. In an exclusive interview at the Élysée Palace, he said there was no justification for the bombing, saying a ceasefire would benefit Israel. While recognizing Israel's right to protect itself, we do urge them to stop this bombing in Gaza, he said. But he also stressed that France clearly condemns the terrorist actions of Hamas. France, like Israel, the US, the UK, and other Western nations, considers Hamas a terrorist organization. Taylor Swift has broken a Grammy record with her latest nomination for Song of the Year. The shortlisting of her hit Anti-Hero makes Swift the first songwriter to score even nominations in the category, overtaking Sir Paul McCartney and Lionel Richie, who have 6 each. She is also nominated in the Album and Record of the Year categories alongside Olivia Rodrigo, Miley Cyrus and SZA. Lana Del Rey and Dua Lipa are among the other nominees for Song of the Year. Billie Eilish, Jon Batiste and SZA have also been recognized in the category. Swift's Album of the Year, Nod for Midnight, is her 6th nomination in this category and ties her with Barbra Streisand for the most nominations for a female artist. If she wins, she will become the first artist to win Album of the Year 4 times. Prior to concluding the world news, the headlines of the world news once again. Firing outside Gaza hospitals with patients and staff trapped inside. Macron calls on Israel to stop killing Gaza's women and babies. Taylor Swift breaks nomination record of Grammy Awards. That ends world news.
Development news.
The World Bank's Board of Executive Directors approved $150 million in financing for Sri Lanka to strengthen the resilience of the financial sector. World Bank Country Director for Maldives, Nepal and Sri Lanka, Faris Haddad Jarvis, said that Sri Lanka's economic crisis highlights the need for strong safety nets to support the financial sector. A stable and reliable banking sector is essential for the economy, businesses and individuals, small businesses and poor households. That was Development News.
Moving on with sports news.
Taking a look at the sports news, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has warned Aaron Ramsdale not to rush any decision over his future after falling out of favour this season. England manager Gareth Southgate told Ramsdale he could not promise a Euro 2024 place if he remained on the bench. Ramsdale, 25, has made only 7 starts this season, with new signing David Raya taking over as first-choice goalkeeper. Tate said that Ramsdale has a really important role in his team. More in sports news. State Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs Rohana Dissanayake has disclosed the government's ambitious plan to inaugurate a new sports university in 2024. During a press conference at the Presidential Media Centre under the theme Collective Path to a Stable Country, State Minister Dissanayake emphasised the government's commitment to addressing challenges within sports federations. That was Sports News.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
A formal presentation of the annual dividends from 5 esteemed institutions under the purview of the State Ministry of Primary Industries took place at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday. The ceremony, presided over by President Ranil Wickremesinghe, marked the remittance of a total sum of 925 million rupees to the Treasury. Accordingly, the National Gems and Jewellery Authority contributed 350 million rupees, Lanka Phosphate Limited 300 million rupees, BCC Lanka 100 million rupees, National Salt Limited 100 million rupees, and Sri Lanka Cement Corporation 75 million rupees to the Treasury, exemplifying a collaborative effort between the public and private sectors in bolstering the nation's financial stability. That was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Moving on to economic news. Oil prices have risen today but are set to fall for a third week as concerns of supply disruptions from the Israel-Hamas conflict have ebbed, allowing demand worries to reassert themselves. Brent crude futures for January were up 40 cents or 0.5% at $80.41 US a barrel this morning, while the US West Texas Intermediate crude futures for December were at 76.04 US up 30 cents or 0.4%. Brent futures are down 5.7% this week, while WTI has declined 5.9% since last week. The 3 weeks of declines are the longest weekly losing streak for both contracts since a 4-week drop from mid-April to early May. That was economic news.
Weather report.
Finally, we take a look at the weather report. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in western, central, Sabaragamuwa, southern, northwestern and Uva provinces after 2 p.m. Fairly heavy showers above 50 millimeters are likely at some places in Sabaragamuwa and Uva provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at times in eastern province and in Polonnaruwa district from night. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in western, Sabaragamuwa, central, north central and Uva provinces during the morning. That was the weather report. Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. Vice-Chancellor of the Sabaragamuwa University expresses hope that the 2024 budget will solve the problems of the people in the country. The government plans to develop rural and regional medical centres under provincial councils. 4,500 million rupees will be allocated for education from the 2024 budget. Increase in dengue high-risk zones. Farmers to be compensated for Yala crop loss. With that, we conclude the news and over to my friend and certainly yours, seeing her after some time, of course, over to Chagi.